And so speaking of Bryce, this is the first show since Bryce Underwood, number one quarterback, number one overall recruit, has decided that he's taking his talents to Ann Arbor, Michigan, for his college journey. So TJ, you've been talking about this for the better part of 17 hours on a couple of shows, but I will say because I haven't had as much opportunity, so I'll just say that this is, like I said on when I stopped by Thursday after my networking event, in my suit, ran over to join the party. Monumental tectonic shift that this is going to cause, not just for himself, but for the recruits to follow, which we will cover. But from 2 years ago to now, what we've seen in NIL is incredible. We just recently received so Dave Portnoy recently talked about how he united with the Ellisons to help acquire Bryce Underwood, to pitch him on everything that Barstool could do. And then, of course, the Ellisons with their resources, both financial and intellectual resources that they're providing. So before we play the clip, any initial points on the Dave Portnoy and Ellisons of it all?
I mean, it's just here's what's beautiful, John. Anyone who's watched our show since the end of September, when we started telling you about the organization, the ambition, and the motivation of the donors, we were telling you guys this at the end of the end of September, and it is finally becoming transparent. You can see it; it's public. With Portnoy shared today, which we'll play the video here. It just sheds light on what is occurring behind the scenes in Michigan. The things that we were talking about, you're starting to see it come to light. In Michigan, and like we told you, Michigan is not effing around. They have a national championship standard. We saw Jolene's quote today, essentially saying, "I don't need credit. I want to stack national championships." Was probably one of the hardest quotes ever made in life. Like, just mad respect. And Portnoy is 100% on that as well. And then there's other donors like Lucy Gao and others who are also putting money into this. Like, Michigan's in a great position, and I got some people on X, like, where's the commits? With, like, just patience, guys. I can assure you it's coming. I can assure you that Michigan's going to be in a great spot, not only for the 25 class, the portal, and 26. Like, just enjoy the ride, okay, and enjoy the video, because this is a hell of. If you have not seen this video, I know it's circulated on social media today. If you have not seen this video yet, it is about as hype as it gets.
Absolutely. Here we go.
It was trending worldwide when it happened. I think all the way up to 9. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, Dave got Michigan, Bryce Underwood," and it all stemmed from the pick'em. When we were just talking, I said, I'm going to go get us a quarterback, and I'll put my own money, $2 to $3 million into this thing, and I'll make sure we have a quarterback, and this will never happen again. That started the ball rolling on what will be known forever as the Renaissance of Michigan. I got a call from the Michigan football team, right? And they said, "Hey, there's this donor who wants to talk to you." I said, "I'm doing this myself. I don't need to talk to anybody. Please." This woman's a big fan of Barstool, big fan of you. She'd love to talk to you. Her name is Jolene. Like, all right, yeah, listen, I'm working on quarterback. I'm studying the field. What are we going to do? They said, "Oh, her husband, by the way, is a guy by the name of Larry Ellison. You ever heard of him?" I said, "Larry Ellison? The number 2 richest guy on the planet?" "Yeah, I'll take that phone call." That night, we're on a Zoom. Me, Jolene, Larry Ellison. And we're talking, and I'm like, "Larry, where'd you go to school?" "Oh, Illinois." "Well, all right. Jolene, what about you?" "Michigan." "Interesting. When'd you go to school?" I believe she said the guy who didn't wear headsets.
Brady Hoke.
That era. Brady Hoke era. And she said, "I never want to live that era again. We're the national champs. I have 2 kids. I can't stomach waking up on a Saturday knowing that we're not the best team on the field." I said, "I'm with you. What do we have to do? What do we have to do?" "I know what we'll do. Let's set up a call tomorrow night with Bryce Underwood and his parents And we talked and we pitched Bryce. I said, listen, first of all, Barstool and the marketing, but more importantly, Larry Ellison and Joel, and nobody can match this. This guy's a legend. And we pitched, but oh boy, Michigan's back. And I didn't know how it would come about or the role I would play. But Jolyn, on that first phone call, she's like, I needed somebody to step up from Michigan and show that they cared as much as I did. And then it was like the mega powers uniting. Listen, and I knew it. I texted Joel and I go, I'm like, it was before it was really known. It's like, I'm getting all this credit. I'm a little uneasy. She goes, I don't need the credit. I need national championships. I need to stack them. By the way, Black Friday, we have a Bryce Underwood Barstool collab coming out in the store with him. Proceeds going to Bryce Underwood. So be on the lookout for that.
Boom, baby. What's up? And then if you watch the longer clip, so there's a longer clip to that video, John, where it's about 9 minutes. And essentially Portnoy talks about how the money they got unlimited funds. They are going after all the 5 stars. They are going after all the top players. They don't give a shit, bro. Like they're on some reckless stuff. And what's hilarious, and I know if anyone is paying attention to some of these message boards in terms of, and what I mean by some of these message boards, I mean the LSU message boards, the Alabama message boards, these Southern schools like, oh, NIL's a problem. We need to do something about this. Nah, suck it. Enjoy the L's. We're coming to take all of your recruits. We don't give a shit. And if you watch how Michigan is moving, which we're going to get into it, John, they are attacking all their top targets right now. Now, the one thing is there's only a week to do this. National Signing Day is next week. So there's a lot of things that need to happen. And one of the other things I want to stress is patience. Like just, they're not just going to announce things. There's going to be in my opinion, a strategic approach to some announcements for momentum purposes. Also, you got to understand they have 1 week to do this. A lot of the agents of these players are not in a rush. Like they have a week. Why do it today? Why do it tomorrow? You know what I mean? Like they're gonna weigh out their options. Okay, because deadlines create urgency. And that's what the agents are going to try to capitalize on, especially when you start messing with these top players like this magnitude. So just have a little patience here, guys. I'm sure by our next Tuesday show, which, by the way, our next Tuesday show, John, is the day before National Signing Day. We should have a bunch of news for you guys.
Very exciting, and I love the kind of step by step that he goes into of like, oh well, I want to do this on my own. But it's Larry Ellison who's worth $230 billion. Okay, I'll do that. I'll be part of that.
Yeah. I'll take that phone call.
Yeah. And
hey,
so
Larry, how we doing?
Yeah. So they did a Zoom. I love that they did a Zoom with Bryce. And I mean, imagine he's sitting there and remember, in addition to the full court press from Sharon, you had all the people coming into Belleville and to the high school games to cheer him on. Yes. The Michigan fans. You had this going on the side, the Zoom meetings with Portnoy and with the Ellisons, and you can see how this came together.
Yeah, you can now. And if you were rocking with us, you could now it's all coming together. The other thing that's also interesting, John, is the reports have kind of come out that, and I know EJ just put out an article, I think yesterday or today, about LSU's offer being embarrassing compared to Michigan's. We told you that. We told you Michigan's offer was double because it was. No one had that shit. So, because I've been getting a little flack lately, and I'm not liking it. But anyways, we did do our receipts yesterday. If you missed our receipts, check it out. We had a hell of a show yesterday. Thanks, shout out to the community for that one. But listen, Michigan. We also shared this also with you guys. Michigan was not going to be outdone for Bryce. It was a win at all costs situation. And also one of the things Portnoy talks about in the longer form of that clip is he essentially says him and the Ellisons were going through all the quarterbacks. They're like, oh, should we look at this one? They were essentially car shopping, John. They're like, okay, how about this one? No, this one. And they're like, no, it's got to be Bryce. Like, we got to hit a home run here. So, and they did it, man. They freaking did it. And it's so funny to also see after, I was watching some of the reaction videos by the LSU people, and they are just like, what happened? Clowns. Take that. But yeah, it's funny, man. Good for us, though. Good for us.
And I will say, related to that, when you talk about intel, and you talk about the fact that our members really heard before the media, put it public, our members heard what was going on as much as you were able to divulge, TJ, at our monthly members only hangout, which is $4.99 and higher. Go ahead and become a member here at the Voice of College Football Michigan channel. And we have 3 tiers, $2.99, $4.99, $9.99. And you could be part of the members only hangout at $4.99 and up, and get that intel first. Be first on the scene with us here at Michigan at the Voice of College Football. And with that said, there's been a couple of questions, TJ, in chat about Ty Haywood. And we all know that Derek Meadows has a Fong bomb and now a Sam Webb crystal ball. So walk us through some of these. All of them, but especially I think there's a lot of questions about those two in chat.
Yeah. So one thing I want to stress again is guys, there is so many new names. And remember, this was just 4 days ago he committed. So just, the momentum is just now picking up with a lot of these guys. But here's where we are. We're going to go through these one by one. Ty Haywood, the 5-star offensive tackle out of Alabama, looking to visit this week. He may have arrived today. I don't know. I do not know the status of any of the visits that are in terms of people who have arrived or not. Ty Haywood is looking to visit to Michigan. And now the one thing about this recruitment that is interesting is he may not commit early signing day. Okay. That said, I feel very good about this recruitment. I think Michigan is going to be the team to beat here. I think he really likes the idea of playing with Babalola and Underwood. I think he likes the idea of playing for Sharon Moore. And I know he likes the NIL deal that Michigan's offering right now. And get this, here's something that's crazy, guys. Alabama cannot match us. We are outbidding Alabama, bro. This is why I feel extremely confident about the Haywood situation. So yeah, I do feel like we are going to land Haywood. I feel pretty confident about this one. And this is why you have the Alabama fan base now saying NIL is a problem when they've been doing it for 40 plus years, bro. And they weren't complaining when Saban was getting all the players, right? Hilarious, bro. And on to our next player. So that's where I'm on Haywood, looking good. Our next player, Derek Meadows. Interesting development. There's 2 developments here that are very interesting. One, Alabama's pushing here, which is very interesting. That's a new name to the table. The other interesting development is apparently LSU's working to try and get him to visit this weekend. We'll see if that happens. That said, I feel good about Michigan. I have felt good about Michigan. I think there's reason for optimism for Michigan. I believe Meadows really wants to play with. Actually, I know Meadows wants to play with Underwood. And not only that, Crowell, the former head coach of Belleville, is actually one of Meadows' mentors and people of guidance. There's a lot of connections here. There's a lot of smoke here. I also feel confident Meadows will be in the class for Michigan. So it's looking good there. The LSU visit's interesting, but I don't know, man. I don't know how if he goes, he doesn't go. I don't know. But I don't know how they're going to pull it off. We're going to have to see. It's something we're going to have to watch. Recruiting's wild. And another thing, guys, when you start recruiting these high level players like this, ask Ohio State, because they're going through it right now. They're losing players left and right now. This. We've talked. All it takes is a phone call. So we'll see, though. I do have reason for optimism for Derek Meadows. It's looking good, in my opinion. The next player that we have on here is Jerome Miles. And this is the name that I haven't really talked about a lot. Michigan's kicking tires here. There appears to be some reciprocated dialogue. We'll see where this goes. This is another player Michigan would love to have. We'll see where this goes, though. I would say this one's a bit sensitive. because obviously he's committed to USC, and USC is starting to rally, and we're going to talk about that with Jakeem Stewart, which I know everyone's really looking forward to that. But yeah, so very interesting there. We'll see where that one goes. The next one's Quincy Porter. This one's also very interesting. You can see Michigan is trying to load up the offense and give Bryce as many weapons as possible and a portal quarterback that we actually, John, I didn't have on our list, but we should guess. It appears to me like there's going to be a high likelihood that we're getting a portal quarterback, and that portal quarterback, I feel, is, if you had to ask me today, I think it's going to be Miller Moss. We'll see though on that. To be determined, I suppose. We'll see if anything else shakes from there. And the portal's not, I think December 14th is when the portal opens up. So we'll have more info as it comes. But you can tell right now, Michigan is trying to load up these skill positions. You have Derek Meadows, you have Jerome Miles, you have Quincy Porter. And for those who have been following recruiting or been watching us, Quincy Porter was somebody Michigan was heavily. There was even a moment where people thought Michigan led for Quincy Porter, but he did commit to Ohio State, and then he was going to go on a visit to Michigan. But Ryan Day literally, rumor has it, threatened his scholarship if he was to go on that visit. So he actually canceled his visit, and he did it like the day before the visit too. Ryan Day threatened that, and that's recruiting. It's a dirty game. It is what it is though. So Michigan's poking around right now, seeing if they can do anything about it. The next player we're going to hit on, John, is Isaiah Gibson. This is the number one edge in the nation, 5-star. This is the Georgia commit from Georgia that all the Georgia fans are saying, you're not pulling a dog out of Georgia. Well, guess what? Larry Ellison and Joe Lynn and Dave Portnoy don't give a fuck, bro. They're going to try and pull a dog out of Georgia, and there's currently discussions and dialogue with Isaiah Gibson. We'll see where this goes. It's a very interesting recruitment. I'll tell you this right now. If they are able to pull this off, hide your kids, hide your wife. Michigan's taking everybody. Taking everybody. And like this is like all Madden difficulty. Okay, we're on some all Madden difficulty. We're trying to pull some crazy shit right now. This is like legendary Halo difficulty. You know what I'm saying? So like, Michigan does not care. Like they don't care who's like, they're going after everybody's girl, bro.
Hey, they're calling Sharon Mr. Steal Your Quarterback. So
yeah,
anything's possible. Top tier reference, by the way. I like that.
Yeah. So then we got Javion Hilson. This is the Coca, Florida Brady Hart teammate edge. I think he's the number 3 edge in the nation, something along those lines. Definitely ranked number 42 in the nation. He visited this weekend, John. And from my understanding, that visit went great.
Okay.
This is another one where I feel very good about Michigan's position here. And I'm pretty optimistic about where it's trending. I think Javion Hilson is looking to be amazing blue Michigan Wolverine, bro. I really do. And this would be a very nice get for Michigan. You already have Julius Holly at the edge position. You had Javion Hilson. That's an excellent one too. And listen, we already talked about Michigan still swinging for some of these other edges, and we're going to talk about another edge right here, Damian Shanklin. This is the other edge that news broke, I think, by Rivals. Was it like a day or two ago that they've reached out to him to just gauge interest? We'll see on that. I do think Michigan has other guys higher on the board than Shanklin. Obviously Gibson, Hilson. I think those guys are kind of higher priorities. I also think Mathis is a higher priority, the former Ohio State decommit, who is another player we're going to hit on next. So yeah, I think it's interesting though. And it goes to show you can see right now, if you look at this, they're targeting wide receivers, they're targeting edge guys, they're targeting defensive line. It's very interesting. In offensive line, we know this with the Haywood. So we'll see what they do with it. And we're going to hit on here, John, Zaire Mathis. This is the Ohio State decommit. The other thing that's also very interesting that I think plays into Michigan's favor is he is not going to make a decision until February. Yeah. That gives Michigan a lot of time to get him on campus. And from my understanding, they are very interested in Zaire Mathis. So we'll see what they do here. Would be a hell of a victory over Ohio State if they're able to pull this off. It's going to be very exciting to see where this goes. Out of all the players we listed here, John, and if you were able to like catch what I was saying, there's 3 of them I feel really good about. The rest we're going to have to let play out and let time occur. We're going to find out obviously within 1 week, John, the outcome or, the result of these recruitments.
Absolutely. And before we get to our next crop, and this is all very exciting, by the way, and it definitely speaks to Michigan's new mentality of not giving a fuck, going for everybody. Why not? YOLO swag, and fit, all the money that is being thrown at this now. It's what I was hoping for at the very beginning of NIL. It just took 2 years, but this is what I was hoping for, is that Michigan was going to be able to play and in some cases do better than the longtime SEC powers with all that money. So GT, continuing with the hide your kids, hide your wife. Y'all need to watch that video if you haven't seen it. It's hilarious. Deep cut there. Hide your Ds, hide your wide receivers. Michigan's grabbing everybody up there.